Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a two-tier choker necklace. Now you can see on my bust here I have a finished piece, and I'm going to be using some leather cord, and I've added a little charm, and this is velvet ribbon. And then if you look on the back here, the beautiful thing about the choker is that it can be nice and tight up against your neck, but I've added a chain extender to help allow for different sizing. So this is really a forgiving piece when you're doing your sizing, but I'll talk a little bit about that as we move along. So like I said, I have some velvet ribbon and some leather cord. I also have some ribbon crimps, some 5mm 21 gauge jump rings. I have my chain extender and my lobster clasp, and I've chosen a nice little fun charm. And then to complete the project, you'll just need a pair of snips or scissors, a couple of pairs of chain nose pliers to help you with those jump rings, and then I'm going to be using a GS Hypo Cement glue. And of course, you'll need a ruler to help with that sizing. So if you have all your supplies, let's go ahead and get started. So to begin, I'm going to take my velvet ribbon here, and to get the sizing I'm going to do about 14 inches. Now if you want smaller, you'll definitely have to go smaller, but with that chain extender you'll be able to get a good 16 inches. So I'm just going to cut and go ahead and set that aside. I just double check my measurement there, and we're looking good. And now I'm going to cut 19 inches of the leather cord because I want it to scoop down nice and low. If you want it to scoop a little more shallow, you can adjust the length between the two. But I'm going to cut 19 inches. So there's 15. All right. And set aside. All right, so now that I have my two lengths ready to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those ribbon crimps to either side. All right, so as you can see on the ribbon crimp, you have one side that has teeth and one side without. Now for this design, what we're going to do is we're going to flip over our ribbon so that we have the non-velvet side facing up, and onto the back you're just going to lay your leather cord on the back, but what you want is you want those teeth to be facing and chomping down on the leather. All right, so but before we chomp them down, what I recommend is taking a little dab of the GS Hypo Cement and just kind of running it along the edge there. This will help keep that ribbon from fraying, and it will also help secure it into that ribbon crimp. So let me just sort of get my hands out of the way and we'll show you how to do this. All right, so I have my GS Hypo Cement. Just remove the little needle that's attached and go ahead and just, you don't need a lot, just enough to kind of secure that ribbon in there. There we go. And close up your glue really quick. You don't want it to kind of spill out everywhere. Oh, there we go. All right. So now I'm going to lay my leather on top, take my ribbon crimp, teeth side going through that leather, and you want to kind of center in the leather cord. It just takes a little finagling. There we go. I gotta switch hands because I want you guys to see this. Okay, so I've got my ribbon all the way up there and my leather cord in the center. And now I'm just going to take one of my pair of chain nose pliers, go over the top of that cord and pinch down, making sure that it's nice and centered. And then you can kind of go in from the side and just make sure that it's pinching down. There we go. And that is nice and secure. So now we're just going to move to the other side and repeat that process. Now make sure that your cord is not getting tangled or wrapped around, so you're going to want to make sure to do the same on the other side here. So I'm just gonna kind of bring this over. And again, very carefully, add that little glue to the end. And I'll definitely need to clean the tip of my glue off after I'm done with this. You can see I'm getting some of those little fuzzies, but I'll do that off camera later. But you just want to make sure that you close up your glue in between. All right, so again, same thing, teeth side down. Make sure it's nice and centered on there. Take your chain nose pliers going up and over the top, and you can kind of grip them and then feel it, and then just press down. And making sure to get sort of both sides there. All right. And make sure you have a nice crimp. And that is the first part. So now, the next part is nice and easy. So what I'm gonna do is sort of turn this around so it looks a little bit more like the choker I have on my bust there. So this is what we're sort of working with here. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my charm. Now, this particular charm does come with a jump ring, but it's too small to fit over my leather cord and to kind of hang or dangle the way I want it to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this jump ring. There we go. And set that aside because I don't want to use that one. What I'm gonna be using is a 5mm 21 gauge, and this will be large enough but strong enough to add to the chain. Or I'm sorry, to add to the leather cord. So very simply, just slip it in, and now I'm just going to close that jump ring. Making sure it is nice and flush. All right, so that portion is done. And now moving to the back of the choker. Take another jump ring, open that right up, slip it through one loop of your ribbon crimp, and now I'm going to add my lobster clasp. Close up that jump ring. Nice and flush. There we go. Perfect. And again, just opening up another jump ring, slipping on my chain extender, and adding it to the other side of that ribbon crimp. Oh, and it looks like I have some little fuzzies in there, but I can go through and clean that up later with just taking a little plier and kind of cleaning that up. That might happen if your ribbon just kind of comes through there, but don't worry too much about that. It's definitely able to be cleaned up. All right. And I had some extra jump rings there that we won't be needing, but that is the long and short of it. A little two-tiered necklace joke for you. And there we go. Now you have a two-tiered choker necklace featuring velvet ribbon and leather cord. Feel free to add any charms that you like to this. It's a really fun design, and you can sort of take the charms on and off. So if you want to make the sort of base design, and you can add your medals and have just a lot of fun with this idea. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find all of these supplies and more videos at Beadaholique.com.